Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2021 horror film Nest of Vampires. A film that is written and directed by Chris Sanders, and it stars Tom Fairfoot, Frank Jakeman, Scott Cassin, we have Hans Henke, Katarina Glober, Rebecca Jenny Clark, John Paul Gates, Jet Drandau and Sean C. Phillips. Now this film focuses on an MI5 agent, and this film is based in the UK. He's an MI5 agent who is on the trail of some criminals who do a little bit of human trafficking. They have taken his daughter and killed his wife, so he naturally is very, very desperate to find them. He is given a tip off by his boss that they're in some rural part of the UK, so he heads out there trying to track them down. However, what they don't realise, the criminals, is that there is like a nest of vampires involved in all this, and this MI5 agent in particular may have some close connection to these vampires too. Right, that's all I can say without giving too many spoilers away. However, this is going to be a difficult film really to talk about without giving spoilers, so there's probably going to be some minor spoilers here, so some warning I suppose. Now, what are my thoughts on Nest of Vampires? Well, this film unfortunately is a real mess. Very, very low budget. Say that straight away. It's very, very low budget here. You can tell that from the way it's filmed. The sound design feels a little cheap, a little bit tinny now and again. Some of the performances by some of the actors in the film are pretty poor. But I think the main cast here do a pretty good job. I think, you know, Tom Fairfoot's pretty good. There's another couple of actresses. Jet Drandau, I think, is pretty good. You know, they hold the lines pretty good and they hold your attention on screen, and they're actually okay. The massive problem with this film is its story. It is literally all over the place, trying to keep track of what's going on here. It's one of those low budget films that really overcomplicates matters. Now, at the very heart of this film, it's supposed to be a vampire film, and they give you some spiel right at the beginning of the film as to vampires being able to walk around in the daylight. I guess it's a clever way of getting it round it, the budgetary issues of the film, I suppose, because yeah, there are vampires walking around in the day here. The story here is so difficult to follow. You've got these criminals that are trafficking humans about, slave trading and all that kind of stuff, selling women for prostitution, whatever you want to call it. So they're bad guys. We get that. We get that they're not nice people. And then you've got these other people that are vampires, and then you've got this MI5 agent who himself is a vampire, and that's not really much of a spoiler because you learn reasonably early into the film. There's a scene with him and his daughter that kind of gives it away, but you just don't really understand how they all intertwine. You've got his boss that sends him out there to this rural place to try and track down these criminals, and it turns out, you know, that he's part of all this, and I was thinking, well, why send him then? Didn't make any sense. Why send him on the right track? It didn't make any sense. So the story itself is absolutely confused as hell. Very, very difficult to follow. A lot of confused characters. You've no idea really who anybody is in regards to names and all that kind of stuff. There's this weird Italian vampire, I guess you could call him, who... it's the worst Italian accent you've ever seen in your life, and I looked it up. I'm looking now, he was born in Middlesex. It's the worst Italian accent you've ever heard in your life. It's like, if anybody remembers in the UK the TV sitcom Hello Hello, when they had this guy doing like a really bad French accent, comically so. It's like that. It's so bad. It's shocking. It really, really is. And then you've got these scenes of people transforming into vampires that are laugh out loud funny. You can forgive a lot in low budget films, but I couldn't forgive the effects here. It literally looked like someone had stuck a bit of latex on someone's face, and you could see the line across here, across the top of the cheeks where it hadn't been glued down properly, and it just looked really bad. And they make that amateurish mistake, you know, when actors put in false vampire teeth and they're going giving it all this, and it was cringy. It was cringe-worthy, unfortunately, and this is a very, very hard film to recommend. I'm being perfectly honest here. I'll only ever be honest in my reviews. I really, really struggled with this one because the story was nonsensical. It didn't make any sense. The effects were laughable, and it criminal, really. It just didn't feel like a vampire film. There's enough lore out there. There's enough great low budget vampire films to put your own stamp on the genre, no matter what budget you've got. And this one really, really fails in doing anything effective with this being a vampire story. The one saving grace here is I do think some of the performances were pretty good. I do think the main lead, and there's another actress in here that does particularly well. And the story had potential, they just didn't deliver at all, unfortunately. So it's going to have to be a 3 out of 10 for me. I thought this was a really, really fairly poor showing. But, you know, if you like really, really low budget horror films and you like vampires as a genre, maybe it'll be one for you to check out. So that's my review for Nest of Vampires. I hope you liked it. I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching. And of course, I will be back with more reviews on Screen Stars very, very soon.